Another car living up to its plate. Josh Rendell there in can fry. And boy, didn't that little 418 cube V8, or anything but little 418 cube Ford V8, absolutely scream, Matty.
Not surprising that is a number plate on it, but I'm just looking out there because he got so close to our barriers out there in the Rod Shop Burnout pad. I think he almost took home one of the signs here, as we can see him picking that up off the ground, little bits and pieces. So we'll have to wait and see what the judges think about that one. But next up, it's a car, we don't want to say it's got no name because that's what's on the number plate right now. It's the Lime Green VS. It's gorgeous in the sunlight. Twin throttle bodies on top, of course, and it's about to get started in the Burnout. Luke Manolis.
Awesome skid there from Luke Manolis. Looked like he was going to get a little bit stuck against the barrier, but managed to spin his way out of it. That 600 horsepower, 408 cube stroker, absolutely screaming out there. But a bit of work there, just getting it not quite spinning top, so up and down between second and top gear on the grippy Rod Shop Burnout pan.
Yeah, he got stuck there for a moment. I think the wind now going back towards the start line on the grandstand side, and if you work your way into there and get stuck against the wall, it's very, very hard to see. As we move on to our next one, as we're back into the 6 cylinders as well, and take nothing away from them. They've earned their spot when it comes here to the Rod Shop Burnout pad. When they've come out into the finals for the Burnout Championship, we've got ourselves about 10 cars left to go before we head into our Masters. We've gone a little bit over time. Right now, it's Anthony Wren coming out in Spotto 4-litre. Dying down now, only one wheel spinning too. Don't want that one wheel appealer here on the Rod Shop Burnout pad.
Sounds like a very industrial area, doesn't it?
I have seen this outside the Tradies Bar at a 5 p.m.
Doing his best to at least get that one spinning tyre popped, but I tell you what, as a bit of a bogan at heart, I do love me a good single.
Oh no, the single pegger. Is he going to take it off the Burnout pad down the far end? Unfortunately, did such a nice job in qualifying over the weekend. Unfortunately, the diff has let him down coming into the finals here.
Well, we had Spotto just then, Spotto 4-litre, but right now we've got another Spotto coming up, Spotto 57. All the way from downtown Cairns, we have got Steve and Helen Robson. Steve has built this gorgeous Chevy with the help of Laborio from LG Automotive. He just had the paint redone by Knights Bodyworks, and the absolute gorgeous paint with the dark black and the green pearl through it. Put a lot of effort into making this sure that this could be a show car as well as a Burnout champion.
Bit of a stoppage there as the LS1 bogged down in this 57. Looks like he's put it into the tyres. They're just getting a little bit lost in the smoke.
Oh, Nathan and Mary Knight will not be impressed if he upsets that beautiful paint job.
So hard to see, though. Blue coloured tyres as well. You get that coloured smoke, and it's so thick to see through, especially when the wind has seemed to have died down this afternoon. Come on, cheer him up for Steve Robson, putting on a fantastic effort out there. Unfortunately, not paying dividends for him this weekend at the Street Machine Summernats.
It will be straight back to Knights Bodyworks in Cairns, I'd say, to have that repaired. Steve will not be a happy man, but he will be happy that he came through to the finals here for the Summernats 35 Burnout Championships.
It truly is an honour just to roll out onto the Rod Shop Burnout pad, let alone to make it into the finals on the Sunday. So congratulations to Steve Robson for getting it out here, and we're sure that this 57 Chev will be back in show car quality in no time.
It is. I don't think people quite understand what it takes to get a spot out on this Rod Shop pad.
We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere on the live stream, because coming up next, we will have Burnout Masters once we finish the Burnout Championships.
Not to warn, not to warn. You think that I'm running in place? Y'all really testing my patience. Right before I blow up the spot, I had to get back to the basics. What if my talent is wasted? It's sick, but I'm lacking the placement. Thoughts as I rap in the basement, but my come up is legend is greatness. I don't care now.
Gary Meyer from Wagga Wagga in the 1960s.
Oh, look, no Triton of Doom required.
Well, there we have it. Steve Robson getting the anger into him after putting it into those tyres. We thought maybe it needed to be towed, but instead backed it out from the tyres and then eager to blow that rear pair off.
Yeah, well, like every Burnout competitor, you just got to get a little bit angry when it doesn't go to plan, don't you? You hate driving off with air in those rear tyres. Luckily, I think the radiator on those is normally about 5 or 6 inches back from the front of the car, so I don't think any of the driveline is going to be damaged at all.
No, it's just not as pretty as it used to be, but it was good to see he gave it a little bit of a spanking there. Chris Eady is making his up in King Tough right now. We are chewing through these Burnout Championship finalists because we've got the Burnout Masters final coming up straight after that. Don't go anywhere unless you really need to go hydrate, slip, slop, slap. Look after yourselves. It is a nice, warm day. I kind of envy the people on the live stream sitting at home in the aircon.
Cammed up package in this one, LSCM, the local Canberran right now. He's got the green on. Normally we see him down at the Raiders there supporting the local NRL. King Tough. Oh, no, that's not going to work, and the bonnet is creased on the Holden Rodeo. He tried to push it down here in the hope that he could turn the car around, but the front tyre's locked up. Wow. Tough hit on the front, but the air in the tyres, and now he's aggressive and angry.
There was a big bit of wheel hop from the front end there, potentially, not quite a good alignment. We can see as well quite a lot of water here following that car, so I'd say a cracked radiator, but Chris Eade not going to let it stop him. Fortunately, though, clearing the pad quickly so he can move on with our competitors.
Quick inspection here from all of our crew to see how quickly we can sweep this up and get on with competition, because we are over time at the moment. So many cars, 60 cars in the championship finals, and we are down to the last 4 that I can see lined up. Maybe there's one going to sneak in there, but we've got 4 or 5 cars left in our Burnout Championships before it's our top 15 from the Burnout Masters qualifying yesterday. Can't wait to get them unleashed, and of course, kicking off the Burnout Masters show this afternoon will be the Madman. And he said, I'll take the number 1. I want to impress the crowd. Lynchy will kick off the Burnout Masters. The moment you see that blue Corolla come out, you know it's all business. It's the big game, and we'll wait to see who's going to be lifted this year, I suppose, and be the Burnout Master for 2023.
So Burnout Masters just around the corner. We do still have the Burnout Championships kicking along with some fantastic skids over the weekend, seeing these drivers get into the final today on Sunday. Up next, we have Traded, a silver VY Ute, piloted by Ashley Horton, rolling out to the pad now, sounding like it is a Carby LS1 backed by Powerglide. Let's hear that 1-2 shift as Ashley Horton gets on the brake in Traded.
I don't think Ashley Horton would trade this moment at all, as he pulls up in front of this sold-out crowd here. Street Machine Summernats 35, make a bit of noise for Ashley Horton and Traded.
How good does the holographic silver wrap look on that VY Ute? Beautifully presented car with the performance to match, really making the most of the pan. Traded out there, piloted by Ashley Horton. I'm sure we're going to see a bit of a rim skid on the way out from here. And then up next, the infamous Skidmar.
Adrian Cuthbertson will be coming out in the little Mitsubishi. Not quite the Grandma shopping trolley we all envision when we think of the Mitsubishi Sigma. Skidmar having travelled the entire country, I think, to compete in burnout comps. This man knows what he's doing on the pad.
Here he comes up, though. He's won like just about every Brashnats competition there is, whether it's Sydney, Darwin. He's been up north, he's been down south. He's been in the Burnout Masters before. He's won the champs. It's Adrian Cuthbertson in the blown 377 Giv against BG Engine Skidmar. Oh, they bring him to a stop, and there are flames everywhere on the Rod Shop Burnout pad. He has really got it hot here this afternoon. Adrian Cuthbertson and Skidmore.
That was absolutely wild. I think 2 or 3 donuts in the entry chute, but then rocketing out of the smoke for a big, fast tip in onto the pad. Huge amounts of smoke, but maybe that little bit too much in overheating the rear tyres there on Skidmore as Adrian got into that back corner of the pad and up against the wall. The combination of exhaust fumes and hot tyres just caused a flaming mess. Back into it though now is Skidmore.
Oh, instantly you saw the throttle hit there, and I think it's just dumped a whole heap of fuel on those back tyres. Unfortunately, they are super hot. Here, the noise coming out of that exhaust, huge RPM, big thud, and those tyres doing well in excess of 300 kilometres an hour instantly.
Hear the noise coming out of that grandstand as people appreciate what Adrian did there. That was an amazing effort from him.
Next, we've got Jacob Drain down there in Go Berserk, the maroon Commodore wagon here. Has an injected 5.7 litre after ripping out the V6. Clicking gears on that Turbo 400. Let's hear it for Go Berserk.
Jacob Drain there going berserk. He's got a red flag. That's the officials telling him it's time to stand out.
What an arm on him too. Gets it all the way up into about the 3rd row of the grandstand. The Chick Henry grandstand waiting for more stubby coolers to go. Give the man a baseball.
Certainly did
berserk.
go berserk. You can see that rear bumper got so close to the Rod Shop walls there, but didn't quite get it. A fantastic drive there from Jacob Drain.
We're not going to muck around. It looks like it might be the final car to come out now in our Burnout Championship. We've got through a whole heap. Can he be the final man out? Can he be the last one to impress the judges enough to get himself a top spot here at the Street Machine Summernats 35 on the Rod Shop Burnout pad? Of course, it's the Holden Commodore about to come and meet his doom here in the cauldron. It's Jake Harris now getting ready to pilot Tater Chip into the Burnout pad. Listen to it. Fire him up, the final in our Burnout Championship.
Big Dua performance built V8 under the bonnet, which means it's going to get plenty of revs. Let's go, Tater Chip!
Oh, it's a hot afternoon, and Tater Chip now, I think, is having some dramas, trying to lock those front tyres up. But he hasn't finished the tyres, and I know he won't drive off this pad unless they are absolutely gone. Make a bit of noise. Do you think he's going to try it? No, he's clearing the straight. Oh, come on, is he going to stop? Wow. Tater Chip not getting the tyres off in our final burnout in the championships, Dave.
With how cleanly that was revving, potentially a trans temp issue or something like that, you know, but seeing that big front wheel lockup coming backwards down the start chute, only just keeping it off from crossing the start line, it was certainly a wild run there for Tater Chip, that beautiful Tiger Mica Commodore.
Jake Harris did do an outstanding job, but he was our last of our finalists here for the Burnout Championships at the Street Machine Summernats 35. And that could only mean one thing, Matty.
That's one thing as we're getting to the big show up next. We started with 39 Burnout Masters in the qualifying yesterday. Well, it all started Thursday when we had 30 wildcard entries. 3 of those got elevated to make 39 Burnout Masters in the qualifying. Then we got that down to 10, but the judges were talking with everybody, all the promoters, everybody behind the scenes, and said they were so close in those last couple. Only like fractions of a point between them. You know what they said? Let's make this 15 cars, and they're not far away from coming out in the Burnout pad next.
Look at that. We actually have, coming from the far end, a little bit of an exhibition skid to break up between our 2 championship and our Masters finals. We have got the Grey Racing Camaro coming out for you right now. These guys are a Burnout Hall of Fame family. Check it out.
Oh, they're down the far end, and there is so much smoke we can't see it from the start line here. And it sounds like they are... Did they go too far down the exit chute? I'm not quite sure.
They might have just gone home and not taken the time to wave to us, but that is not like Peter or Debbie Gray, and it could be either one of them behind the wheel. We're never quite sure because they're both exceptionally good drivers.
Back on it again, potentially just lost in the smoke there, but coming in for another tip in onto the Rod Shop Burnout pad.
Summernats cheer him on. Inducted into the John Peterson Burnout Hall of Fame this weekend. Peter Gray, the Zoomies of 502 cubes, just letting the noise out.
Speaking about another legend in the Burnout scene.
Looks like we're probably going to clean the pad here. We've got to get it set right now for our Burnout Masters. We've got 15 coming your way. Some huge names. We'll be back very shortly.
My life is hot rods, designing them, building them, and racing. If you're into rods or customs, you'll know what I mean. It's all about passion, purity, and soul.
Customs and hot rods
do.
Rods, customs, and even your daily drive. Call Shannon's on 134646.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
Like us.
Switch it up now. wise as a serpent, but it's innocent as good. Funny how a little bit of money in the bitch ass that people get weird. I ain't selling up for no man, I'ma make myself clear. Coming with you, push up on the crew when you already know what we stand at. The pop on the scene, boy, keep your hands clean when I die, then I'm ready for my audit. Facts. Patience is a virtue, thank the Lord that we waited. One day when I catch up with him, I'll tell my mama I made it. Yeah. Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. Better me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it cause you all cap like. When they ask what's the motives, don't talk, I just show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going. I'm shaking the dice and they're keeping it rolling. They already know.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
Myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game. Pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You trying to aim for the top like this and you're in your element with a fire like this and they hoping you fall and they praying you miss, but it's all in the risk. I got you with the switch, you know. You can be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I need all the wins, yeah. Gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. You better move, you might. If I'm making up the hop and the ghost, then I'll be a ghost. What I do is I handle the dreaming. It's obvious, not about everything and everybody. It shows my revenue growth is out of control. I'm ready to blow, I'm ready for war, I'm ready for smoke. You ready to go? I really think I'm playing chess. I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead of every move. Now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret. It's because I never slept. All my nightmares of me.
This is what you've all been waiting for here at Street Machine Summernats 35, brought to you by Rare Spares. We're into the Burnout Masters, and kicking things off is an infamous driver that we actually just saw the virtual version of up on the screen in the Burnout Masters game, which I'd encourage each and every one of you to download and have a go of, by the way. But we will be kicking off Burnout Masters with someone that we know is a bit of a crowd favourite.
Mate, he's an absolute crowd favourite no matter where he goes around Australia. And, of course, you did see him there in the Burnout Master game. So many of your Burnout Masters you can get hold of on there as well as all the major Burnout pads around Australia. Lara, look at the crowd here. How fantastic it is on a sold-out Sunday.
It is. It's fantastic to see so many people because we know they are true enthusiasts. They didn't buy their ticket at the gate by accident this morning. They all prepaid so they could be here today for this sellout crowd. And of course, our next competitor, when he was announced as one of our finalists for the Burnout Masters here at Summernats 35, Facebook went mad.
It did.
The amount of comments were insane. Look at that crowd. They are beautiful, beautiful human beings, and they're all here to see this man.
Where's the pineapple crowd up there? Hey, how good are they? The fashions on the field. Dave, you got fans.
Yeah, they've been glued to the seat all weekend. The only time leaving that grandstand was to compete in fashions on the field. We had a great time in on the Cunner main arena there, doing a bit of a fashion comp. We had a tattoo comp, and then we finished it off with the Dirty Mullet competition hosted by Mullet Fest. I even got myself an honorary Mullet Fest mullet headband, which was a hell of a lot of fun. I think I'm going to have to grow my hair out.
Look, we do have one little bit of serious business to take care of, though. You are not allowed to jump on the fences. If we see people jumping on the fences, we have been directed to stop the burnouts. Now, with 30,000, 40,000 people right here in this one area, if you're that one person on the fence, we will point you out. You're going to stop the burnouts, and you're going to have about 39,999 people who are not going to want to be your friend. So make sure you do not jump up on the fences today. It will bring a stop to proceedings on the burnout pad.
I'm pretty sure the rule...
I'll have a passion fruit one, thanks. They were delicious.
Well, there we go. It's a double warning there. It's about the only way you're going to get out of anything that's going to happen. And look, former burnout master himself, Matty James, his pad side unfortunately didn't go to plan for him yesterday. Hopefully that's not a big problem, but a big trek over from WA. But, well, he's got a friend in the Burnout Masters as well who... He's done a bit of work on his cars there in Unwanted Automotive, and he's got two cars. Can he do what Matty did back at Summernats 31? Can he come 1 and 2? Chris Orchard in the game and the OG. So the naturally aspirated version, NASCAR engine in the VH, and then he's got in the VL Calais, he's got the blown small block from B&R engines. Both of them well capable of doing 9,000 plus RPM.
We have got a couple of potential firsts here. We could have a potential first ever back-to-back with Tim in Siam Blow. He was our winner last year for the Burnout Masters.
Yeah, what could he do if he comes back-to-back? And been super reliable when it comes to qualifying. He just put on a massive display, RPM start to finish, huge, thick, white clouds of smoke as well. You know, there's the consistency really out of Tim Brown at the moment. He had a recent win a couple of months ago as well down there at Summernats. So tough competitor and coming in with some seasoned form as well. Dwayne Palantine, another one from WA, who's just a crazy driver. We saw him, unfortunately, tap the wall when he came out and did a display skid earlier on in the weekend, but he made up for it yesterday in qualifying.
Now, am I wrong to say that if Britt Kilby and Hammer Time managed to take the win, that would be our first ever four-wheel drive winner?
Well, it's technically not a four-wheel drive, is it?
Well, it's lifted.
Nah.
You know, it's a day. It wanted to be.
Go with the
When it grew
American
up.
SUV.
Look, you look down there too. Steve Etzel, who's been 2 times runner-up in the Burnout Masters as well now. He turned around and started driving home this morning. He said, I didn't make the top 10. It's all right. I'm going to start driving home. Loaded the car up and off he was gone. He gets the phone call and says, we've now made it top 15 and you're in. And he had to make that decision, split decision. And was it really a decision to be made? Car turned around. He'd already cut the armbands off. We had to organise to get him back in here. The car is unloaded and Skid Ute is lined up and ready to go in the Burnout Masters finals once again for Summernats 35.
That big Ford Ute is a personal favourite of mine, but I'd hate to have to pick a winner. There are so many amazing cars out here today. Like I said, we could have the first ever back-to-back winner in Sia Blow. We could have another first and second place with the game and the OG. And we could potentially, depending on the Burnout Championship winner, end up with a husband and wife matchup.
Here we go. Look, keep looking down that field, though. Steve Loader, another one, won the Burnout Championship last year, and it's just been one of the competitions he hasn't been able to really get a grasp on. He's had so many moments here where he's been so close or something's gone wrong over the years. Last year, he changed that luck around. This time, will it be the Burnout Masters? And I know there's some UC Smoke fans up there in the crowd. John O'Kelly, another one from South Australia, who had heaps of RPM yesterday. That was clean and crisp. Rob Cottrell got one of his cars through the Burnout Masters qualifying to make it through in 4 to Haters. Now he's got the Dual power plant on board now, and that is sounding mint at the moment. So can he do it there in the XD? We got Jake Myers and Sicko as well. That was 8.5 plus 1,000 RPM from start to finish in the Myers Mustang. It's gone back to its original black livery as well. And how good does that car? It's a bit of nostalgia there, running the GM 176 plates. And if you've been around the Burnouts from Summernats in the early days, it just brings a bit of a moment to you there. And you saw Gary Myers bring that out and do a demonstration display earlier on the weekend. But I'm loving this. Our starter's giving the thumbs up. Ladies and gentlemen, he's rolling out to the start of the Rod Shop Burnout pad. He's kicking off the Burnout Masters today. Start the chant. It is Andrew Lynch. We want to hear it all the way through the crowd. Lynchy, 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 Lynchy. Come on, Andrew Lynch now, the wild man behind the wheel. Here it goes. Unleash the Corolla. What a way to kick off the Burnout Masters. Your number one entrant there, Andrew Lynch.
You can see why he's a crowd favourite anywhere he goes, skidding down under and around the world too. Lynchy, the absolute weapon, kicking off our Burnout Masters with incredible speed down the entry chute, tipping it in the opposite direction to what most cars do to face the barrier, then straight down the exit chute, back up the entry chute, just off the start line. Expert use of the pad.
He has set the benchmark here for the Burnout Masters. Final at the Summernats 35 Rod Shop Burnout pad. He was my favourite yesterday, I got to say, in the qualifying. I'm very, very glad I am not a judge here.
The next car to come out and grace us with his appearance here in the Rod Shop Burnout pad for the Burnout Masters. He's going to follow in the footsteps of his father. He's already been a Summernats Burnout Masters champion back in Summernats 32. He's young. He's got all the enthusiasm and he's got the machinery behind him as well. His dad has won the most amount of burnout competitions here at Summernats. He's a legend of the sport. Next up, coming out, powered by a blown motorsport tune, small block Ford, screwed together by his dad himself, the Myers Muscle. He was your youngest Burnout Master ever in history so far. It is now Jake Myers coming to the Burnout pad in this black Mustang. It's angry, it's Ford powered, and he's got a whole heap of fans here this weekend. Sicko!
Sicko Summernats. Tell him what you think of that effort.
I love seeing those polished throttle plates just flicking the light across the Summernats crowd, but a great skid there from Sicko going chute to chute, and really smart use of the pad there to make sure that that smoke cleared and visibility was good, but then making sure he used the deep bit of the rod shot burnout pad as well. A very intelligent and measured skid there from Jake Myers in Sicko.
Another very important thing to remind people watching is you've got to go a minimum of 1 minute for the judging. So you go less than a minute, you can cop yourself a little bit of a penalty there as well. So sounded like he went the distance that time, and you see the diff gears get changed in that, but look at the amount of smoke he's making up on the big screen. That's an impressive car to watch, and he jumps straight back in. I think the idle starts to come down there because it's probably a little bit warm, and he's thinking, don't stop, we've got to get this off the pad to maximise the points. Another black beauty now making its way to the burnout pad. He was last year's Summernats burnout champion. It's got a whole heap of cubes on board. It's Big Block Chev. He wants to take the win in the Masters. It's probably the final thing for the mantelpiece when it comes to the burnouts. It is Stephen Loader now. Paul Cook alongside in UC Smoke. Just sitting here idling. Now we see it in gear. Time to light the back tyres up and send it into the burnout pad. Oh no, we can see the amber lick coming out the back.
Yeah, we can see red flags out there, so it's not just an exhaust flame. I think the marshals will just be going out to just double check that everything is all right there with UC Smoke, but at least the early part of that skid, very impressive volume of smoke, and right up there in the revs as Steve Loader tipped it into the rod shot burnout pad.
That's not the time to have it go wrong, is it? He has worked so hard to get here this weekend for the Burnout Masters. Summernats, give him some love.
It's not what you want to see in that gorgeous black paint job on the back quarters there. For Stephen Loader, the powerhouse Big Block there is spewing out so much horsepower. Just get those tyres instantly smoking and hot. And unfortunately, in this nice sunny afternoon here in Canberra on the burnout pad, that has resulted in that flame.
Yeah, hot on the rear of UC Smoke. And once they're lit, we find it's very hard to get them back out. You try and get that skid going again. And with something big power like UC Smoke, it's no surprise that it destroys those tyres. Oh, we might have to see as well here a reverse. So things really going wrong there for Steve Loader.
He's not going to come back from that. We have got such an outstanding field of competitors today that you just cannot make a mistake like that.
Cheer him on. He's backing up to start again, ladies and gentlemen. Watch with a huge tip in from UC Smoke. Make a whole heap of noise for Stephen Loader now. He's going to send it back into the burnout pad.
Was just for you. He was not going to be collecting any points there towards the Burnout Masters title, but he wanted to leave you with a show.
Yeah, you could see Stephen Loader going there. Well, if I'm picking reverse, I might as well use it. I've already got the deduction. I've already had the stoppage. Let's get back down the chute and make sure the crowd gets to see what a tip in is really like.
I tell you what, forget the replay you're seeing here where he started. That was impressive. Take me back to the second time he did it, because you can tell there's nothing left to lose now. Just send it in there. Give it every bit of RPM the powerhouse has put in those pistons. Let them move up and down as fast as they go and throw it back into the rod shot burnout pad.
Coming up to the start line shortly, we have your Summernats 34 Burnout Master from last year. Can he be the first person since Summernats 31 to make it a back-to-back Burnout Masters title?
No, we'll have to wait and find out, because he's just waiting patiently. And what a story it was last year. He made it into the Burnout Masters wild card. He then got elevated into the Burnout Masters qualifying, so he had to impress the judges once. Then he managed to make it into the Burnout Masters finals last year, so he's impressed them twice. And then he was lifted up by his peers as the Burnout Master of 2022 there from Summernats 34. So 3 times he had to be on the top of the sheet there when it came to the scoring. Can he make that happen here? Because he was super consistent a couple of months ago at Spring Nats. He's brought the car down here, still coming off that win down there. And he put a nice display on during the qualifying, made it into the top 10 yesterday, and now he's getting given the signal to come forward. We can hear it, it's noisy. It's Tim Brown now driving forward. The big Taverna Brothers sticker across the top. It's a small block Chev between the rails, put together by BNR Engines. And every time we see that sticker, we know it's going to make a whole heap of noise. The 871 about to throw a hive of air and methanol down the throat of this small block Chev. See him blow! The crowd, the tyres are absolutely gone on the back of See 'em Blow. Raise your fingers in the air as he drives off. Can he go back to back? Timmy Brown, See 'em Blow.
That was an outstanding effort, Dave. Look at the replay up on the big screen here as Tim Brown launches the Commodore down the entry chute.
You can really see these high horsepower cars that you see up in the Burnout Masters, and they can do both the fast tip in and the instant smoke with volume of smoke. And Sam Blow is a great example of that, just pumping the rod shot burnout pad.
All right, our 5th car to come out in the Burnout Masters out of 15 next. Out of Western Australia, another BNR small block Chev combination in this gorgeous Tirana. He's wild, he's going to throw it in. It's Dwayne Palantine in Pepperin.
Dwayne Palantine there's decided to leave the pad. He didn't stop to say goodbye. Pepper it. Now, the word that came to mind for me then was staunch. That was a staunch skid.
I think I'll echo that sympathy, because look at him. He came out, put the foot down, and no matter where he goes, he won up at Gaznats and Darwin, he won at Motivation last year, he just puts the foot down and tries to steer that thing around the pad. And another person that likes to do that coming forward from South Australia. Sure, we got a couple of South Aussies out there in the stand somewhere. He's been to the Burnout Masters before. He's been down in Red Summernats and got himself a win. It is John O'Kelly now from South Australia in the VK Commodore, the NASCAR Power, and it's going to go all the way past 9,000 RPM, that BNR 355.
A wild one there from 355. All of the revs from that NASCAR donk, and a great drive to match.
Look, you can tell that the wind has started to come on, make some noise for John O'Kelly.
Little tribute there to the man. Chick Henry Grandstand. Give him some love there.
Yeah, this is for you. He's done so many Summernats and he loves coming back every time he can make it here. And he's just checking to see what's going on with the car. I mean, John O'Kelly, tough competitor, tough engine combination, and he's going to be tough to beat this weekend. What I'm really finding, though, is that the wind has stopped out there, and that makes it super hard for these Burnout competitors because you get caught up in your own smoke.
Yeah, look at it hanging around there, whereas the rest of the weekend we've just had that really nice cross breeze that's helped those cars, especially ones that produce that high volume of smoke that the judges are looking for, helps them keep visibility on the pad. But there are other ways around that in terms of using different parts of the pad and really planning out where you're going to go. But sometimes the best bet is hold it flat and hold on.
Oh.
That was our 6th car in the 15-car lineup that we have here for the Burnout Masters Final. You were watching Street Machine Summernats 35 here on the Rod Shop Burnout pad. Of course, if you want to be here next year, particularly if you want to be up in those nice shaded seats, the Chick Henry Grandstand, get online. The early bird tickets are out at the moment with a discount. And if you want a little hit of Burnout power before then, get online for Rocky Nats in Easter long weekend, April 7th to 9. Michael Pratton making his way up to the start line right now in Spastic. I love the artwork on this Commodore.
The Warspeed sticker on the top of the window says it all now. It's a blown LS combination. Second at Brash Nash this year. And coming here with some form, he's back. Michael Pratton and Spastic.
Wow, how good was that from Michael Pratton in Spastic? I was particularly impressed with how much steering angle he carried with speed onto that entry chute there to whip it around in front of the crowd before going back onto the pad. A really strong finals drive.
Michael is going to be so happy with that output. He's going to think that Spastic should be back here every year at Summernats, and geez, I hope he does. We have got so much Burnout action still to come for you here this afternoon at Summernats 35. One of my favourite cars will be making its way onto the pad after Spastic departs. Britt and Brad Kilby.
8 more competitors to make their way into this cauldron, which is the Rod Shop Burnout pad. It is warm this afternoon despite the cool condition we've had. We are turning the temp up. The crowd is packed in here on a sold-out Sunday, and we are not disappointing with the level of burnouts we have seen so far from the Burnout Masters in 2023 at the Street Machine Summernats 35. And look at Michael Pratton that time, so close to the barriers. And that's what you got to do as a Burnout Master. You need to push to every little limit, every little bit of real estate here on the Burnout pad. Make yourself known. You can see the fresh tyre marks as well, and the judges will be looking at to try and deviate between all of them. We're going to take a short break and be back after this quick clean-up.
My life is hot rods, designing them, building them, and racing them. If you're into rods or customs, you'll know what I mean. It's all about passion, purity, and soul.
Customs and hot rods like the SoCal Roadster is what we do.
And insurance for cars like ours is what Shannons do.
Rods, customs, and even your daily drive. Call Shannons on 134646.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
Like us.
This is not a warning, not a warning. You think that I'm running in place? Y'all really testing my patience. Right before I blow up the spot, I had to get back to the basics. What if my talent is wasted? And see what I'm lacking the placement. Thought since I rap in the basement, but my come up is legend.
Well, you can play the Burnout Masters game all you like, but nothing's like being trackside here to watch our Burnout Masters this year. And I tell you what, Brad's already had this car out in the championship. We don't know if he's going to get the number 1. Britt last year was 4th in the Burnout Masters and secured her spot back. The chance to come again. Will she get one better? Of course, it is the 403 cubed LS now with the twin carbies on top. Hammer time, Britt Kilby.
Summernats 35. That's Mrs. Britt Kilby. Give her some affection. That was an outstanding burnout there from Hammer Time. I reckon hubby Brad will be as happy as she is.
Britt absolutely hammering the rear tyres off Hammer Time, but giving it one last tip in to get to the centre of the pad and really lap up the love that the crowd has for this iconic car. Double entered, always just doing lap after lap, tyre after tyre, faultlessly. So it's so good to see Hammer Time out here in the finals. Such a solid effort that may see Britt near the top of the standings.
Can she go one better than 4th position like she did last year in front of another great crowd? I don't know, Brett. She puts it all on the line. She's got that controlled style, doesn't she? Constant smoke from start to finish. And we're going to see something very, very different coming up next. You go from this controlled style of Burnout to someone who just likes to mash that right foot down as hard as he can and just drive around the Burnout pad fast, producing so much smoke because of the horsepower this car makes. He's from Western Australia. It's one of the 2 entries he's got into the Burnout Masters here right now. He loves that it's his original, the OG, now making its way to the Burnout pad. The B&R small block between the chassis rails. He is going to turn it up for this one. Chris Orchard now in the OG. And he's somewhere in that thick, thick red smoke. Here he is. The nose comes out of the Calais.
Chris Orchard there. He's decided he's going to go back and grab his second car to come out for a second run a little bit later on. The OG, though, doing him proud.
He's not mucking around, is he? He actually has to get out of that vehicle and run back. Look, it's the game we play here, but I just want to know how close. There was so much smoke we couldn't tell, but the physics here, how close did he get and what happened there? There's a judge on that corner. Hopefully they know and they saw exactly what happened, because that could be the difference between being on that top perch or maybe just getting a slight discount in the points. Up next, though, he's the wild man as well, out from the Wagga Wagga region. He loves coming, loving seeing the Crint Rowley racing. On top as well, the War Speed power plant in the front. It's making about 450 horsepower. He's been to Darwin there, got the National Aspirator win. And wherever he goes, he seems to get the National Aspirator win, but he's here in the Masters now. It's Billy Seaton in on tick.
Summernats give it up for Billy Seaton. He came here on a wild card. He went through to the Masters qualifying, and now here he is in the Masters final on tick.
I tell you what, he is trying. You think about all the cars you've seen with the huge blowers. He's brought a knife to a gunfight, and he really has to impress with that driving ability there. You see him throw it around. Didn't quite get the full 360. Went back the other way, but did not lift one bit from start to finish, Billy Seaton. He'll be hoping the Riverina Thrashers can take home some sort of trophy from this weekend. Next up, though, it is Rick Fuller making his way to the Burnout pad from Victoria in this HX Holden Kingswood. It's a new build for him this year in the second half. He got third at Red Summernats, which got him an opportunity yesterday in the qualifying. It doesn't matter what he does. He's so skillful. It's the typical blown LS combination he's had in so many cars. Full on X.
Has anyone seen Rick Fuller? We've kind of lost him out there amongst all that smoke. Here he is. We can see him on the overhead camera now. Full on X.
How impressive was that run back down the entry chute here where heaps of opposite lock and not quite touching or dragging, but just bringing the tail light of that HX down past the rod shot barriers and then whipping it into this beautiful little donut to go back out onto the pad. Great run there for Rick Fuller.
There's a reason why he's a previous Summernats Burnout master. He's only got one car in it this year, but it's all he needs to get that #1 spot once again. It was a couple of years ago where he did that back in LS1 and back in Summernats 33. He'd be looking for fame again, but of course we've still got a few cars lined up in this Burnout Masters. We extended it out to 15 cars. We have 11 cars run and done. 4 competitors still to come, and the next one has been runner-up a couple of times now in the Burnout Masters. Last time at Summernats 34 and Summernats 33, but he's looking for the big #1, the huge trophy to take home today. He was halfway home when he got the phone call to say you've made it. It's Steve Etzel now coming out in Skid Ute.
Summernats, but I am very, very glad that man threw a U-turn and came back to compete here in the Burnout Masters Finals at Summernats 35.
Steve Etzel definitely still had a skid in him, as did Skid Ute, with an impressive speedy tip straight into the pad there and plenty of smoke.
How tough does that Ute look, Matty?
Mate, there's a reason why he has been runner-up twice already in the Burnout Masters, because he's a tough engine combination. He is a very skilled driver, and he always smokes the entire pad out here at Summernats. And will he have done enough to make it to that top pier, I suppose, stand on the top of the podium and get the big trophy? Next up, though, we've got a couple more cars to come in this 15-car field of Burnout Masters. And from the Wagga Wagga region, up next, he won Red Summernats in 2022. He's coming off a bit of form. He's got a fresh engine there from Juar down there in Albury. He put a fresh new engine combination in, and he's ready to let it rip today. It is Rob Cottrell now, coming out in the LS Powered XD Ford Haters.
Tyres are off for Rob and Ford Haters. Do you think that was a Burnout Master worthy skid there?
Yeah, even just seeing the mastery of Rob knowing, hey, I don't have much momentum here, tyres are off, let's get this off the pad and complete what was a solid skid. And Rob Cottrell, one of the other drivers here who had 2 cars entered and was so impressive in that Fat Tony Fairlane, managed to get Ford Haters through, and I'm so glad he did. One of my favourite drivers of the Burnout Masters comp this weekend.
Great to see all of our officials running out there very quickly to clear the burnout pad at the moment, because our Masters, they throw tyres everywhere with the wheel speed they make. You see the big horsepower they bring here to the Rod Shop Burnout. Great to see everybody in the grandstands on a sold-out Sunday. And he's back now in his second car from Western Australia. It's the NASCAR-powered VH Commodore. And how much do you think Brett Nidry is going to let him turn the wick up on this little Dodge small block? Let's find out. He's got a whole heap of wins down Western Australia. He's getting G'd up by Matty James on the side. Chris Orchard now bringing the game to the Rod Shop Burnout pad for the Burnout Masters Finals.
Chris Orchard there revving the crowd up, and how's the sound of that Dodge small block?
Chris Orchard, though, I'm not sure if he's going to make it a 1-2 in the Masters here this weekend. He's had a few little cuddles with the concrete, would we say, Matty?
Well, I don't know. It's just so close, and I can't confirm nor deny, and that's what the judges are here for.
Yeah.
That's why they take all the pressure. They get paid the big bucks. But seeing how close it was, it could go either way, and that's the problem. From where we sit, it could go either way, but the judges are going to come up with a decision. That's why we've got all the camera angles.
Yeah.
They're spaced out around the burnout pad, and it's going to be a little deduction like that. And, you know, 5 or 10 points can take you from first all the way down to 15th in this 15-car field. And our final car, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet. The final Burnout Master for Street Machine Summernats 35 on the Rod Shop Burnout Pad. He's another Western Australian competitor. Luckily, got his opportunity coming second at Burnout King in Western Australia a couple of years ago, and he's had a bit of a break trying to get over here from the west. Of course, it is this big red Commodore. Yes, it's familiar. BYE, blown LS power plant, and Justin's up in the stands. It is now Joel Snell in F&Fun. And the barbecue has been lit there in the exit chute. For F&Fun, Joel Snell will pull up and our fire officials will get right onto that. But of course, being the final car out on the burnout pad, if it's safe to do so, if we put the flame out, who wants to see him finish the tyres off?
I think that's a yes, Matty. We definitely want to see Joel Snell put this big Commodore through its paces, our last car here for the Street Machine Summernats 35.
It'd be sacrilege if we didn't have the final car go off on rims. Make a bit of noise, he comes by.
Give it up for Joel Snell. How is the blower wine on that BYE beast of an engine? The field we've had today, Lara, truly living up to the name, Burnout Masters.
I feel a little deflated because that was our last car. I want more.
Yeah, you always want more when you come to Summernats, but now it's up to our judges. They have to go through that harsh deliberation. They have to look at all their scores, make sure they're happy, put them into the system, find out who's going to be on the top perch. Of course, we will be doing that down on the burnout pad in about 10 to 15 minutes. Of course, we'll be going through all of our burnout winners, so you don't have to go anywhere if you want to find out who's going to be the burnout master of Summernats 35.
Now, when you said top perch just then, Maddie, my first thought was the top of that Chick Henry grandstand. I want one of those seats next year. I'm going to get on the early bird tickets, which are on sale right now, so that I can get one of those discounted, shaded, lovely seats ready for Summernats 36.
I'd be getting in quick too, because if this record-breaking year at Street Machine Summernats 35 is anything to go by, entrant and spectator tickets alike will sell out. So be sure to head onto the Summernats website, and whether you want to enter your car next year or just come along for a look, get those early bird tickets in now. Our judges will deliberate and get back to you with a result. So for those who do have to get going home, remember we are also on a live stream, and shout out to everyone who is on that live stream. We will be announcing our winners on there. So look, if you do have to hit the road, we understand. Definitely hang around and check out the trophy presentation. But if you are, be sure to tune into the live stream and you'll hear all the action anyway.
Live stream, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I think we've got it all going on the socials.
Carrier pigeon.
You can stay up to date. We even had smoke signals earlier.
We're so excited about the Burnout Masters, but we've also got the Burnout Championships to award. Remembering, the top 3 of the championships get a ticket into the Masters next year, and the top 5 from the Masters get another chance next year as well. So not only do you want to be crowned the winner, if you can automatically go into next year, you don't have to travel the country looking for that ticket. You can save a bit of it. You can just go out and enjoy yourself, get your skills honed in. It's another big advantage.
That's what I love about this Burnout Masters format is people think, oh, it's just go out there, do a skid, do what you need to do. But there is a level of progression to it where as you get better, you can start winning competitions, winning yourself spots to move up and end up in the prestigious Burnout Masters list. But even then, there's so much tough competition to whittle it down to that top 15, all for that coveted Burnout Masters trophy.
Thank you very much for listening to us up in the tower here all this weekend. We have had the amazing Josh working all our tech this weekend. Thank you, sir. And of course, Maddie Cav, the legend, has been here. My name's Lara Wild and Dave Carter. This was your first time up in the tower with us at Summernats for the Burnouts. How'd you find it?
Oh, it was absolutely unreal. You know, I've come from a bit of a drifting background and performance background, and one of the things I've most thoroughly enjoyed, of course, besides being here at Summernats and yelling into the mic, as I love to do, but was being able to pick the brain of the judges to really get my head around how this competitive motorsport works. And look, I have done a fair bit of burnout stuff in the past as well, but every competition's different, so I really value the opportunity to speak with the judging team. And what they are deliberating about now is how the scores of these drivers stack up, and the way that those scores are formulated is you've got 50% of your score for smoke, and that's broken down again into 10 points or a maximum of for instant smoke. 20 points for consistent smoke, so that gets hurt by pedaling, by picking the wrong gear, by getting lost in the smoke and just having to back off. And then also volume of smoke, which is an overall, and we saw plenty of that from each and every one of our Burnout Masters. Now, in the driving element of that 50%, it is a relatively subjective area about how impressive that drive was, but there are a few things that the judges look out for. You know, not getting stuck and not stopping and just generally keeping a fast, smooth flow throughout. That goes for footwork as well. They don't want to hear lots of ups and downs in the revs or, you know, poor brake work or poor steering work. They want to see these drivers being the experts and the masters that they are in piloting these wild machines. They also want to see tip-in speed, but with tip-in speed, there needs to still be smoke. So it's that fine edge of how much smoke you get on those rear tyres versus how quick and impressive the tip-in speed is. They've also said this year that they didn't want to see too much limiter. So that was an indication of how much control the driver had. You also need to last over 60 seconds, and then comes in your deductions. You know, did they hit a barrier? There's some point deductions there. Did they leave the pad with a tyre still on the car? Well, if you did, each tyre you take home is instantly 5 points off.
Oh, Dave, I've got to look at this competition, though. Like, we had 15 cars come out, and just visually, the only one I think that didn't get a chance to really maximise the points was probably, unfortunately, Steve Loader, last year's Burnout Championship winner in UC Smoke. But I'll tell you what, from a crowd perspective, when it all goes wrong, you have too much fire, you've got to stop and grab reverse. What do? You reverse all the way back up the burnout pad. You go right back to where it started, and you throw the wildest tip in we probably saw this afternoon there, threw it right in the pad, that big block screaming as well. I mean, that was super impressive. Unfortunately, though, he's had a few deductions.
Yeah, it was a real shame there, you know, seeing UC Smoke straight off the line into those crazy nuts. Awesome volume of smoke there and really getting those rear tyres turning. But as a result of that, they got quite hot, and in the middle of the pad, there was a tyre fire there. But otherwise, it would have been pretty impressive. So Stephen Loader, you know, not one to be, sent off early, went, well, if I'm getting stopped and if I'm picking reverse, I'm taking it the whole way back up the start chute, and we're going to show you what a tip-in really means when there's no consequences, when there's no worrying about what these judged points are going to be. It's like, well, hey, I've already got my deductions. Let's give the crowd what they want.
Yeah, he's been here a number of times, so many times that I can't remember. And look, he knows exactly where it's at. To win and get on the top, you cannot make one mistake. And there's probably 5 or 6 cars that really impressed me throughout that burnout, where the RPM, they didn't have to pedal it to get out of a corner. They just maintained it. The smoke was constant from start to finish. And look, I'm glad I'm not a judge.
Yeah, it's a really difficult one to split, and I love the line you've been using throughout the weekend, Matty, of it's not about what each of these drivers did well, it's about the mistakes that may have made. So it really is splitting hairs here of trying to find reasons that points are deducted, because each and every one of these drivers does a fantastic skid. I think there are a couple of standouts for me, though. You know, obviously crowd favourite Lynchy, and he's a big one for me as well, as just a super talented driver who's fast and aggressive. But I saw that as well in Michael Pratton in Spastic, and that car probably had a larger volume of smoke. And gee, there was some big opposite lock moments, you know, out there and against the barriers. Like, that was a really, really nuts drive there.
Yeah, I think he was another one that kept the RPM fairly constant. John O'Kelly was another one for me where it was just RPM start to finish. You know, the little naturally aspirated motor, what a story it would be if he came out on top of all these huge horsepower cars. It makes a whole heap of horsepower, a little small block, but, you know, no big shiny blower, no big blower wine, but still competing here at the top echelon of the sport. Tim Brown, can he go back-to-back? Because that was impressive, man. He really used the pad as well, kept the RPM up there. Jake Myers, RPM for days, made his way around the pad, kept it nice and consistent there, and the smoke, though, so thick and just kept coming out of those wheel arches.
Did you have any favourites, Lara?
I gotta say, I did love all of the burnouts here we had for the Masters. I had a few favourites. That big ute of Skid Ute, Steve Edsel, that was definitely a favourite for me. I love seeing Britt Kilby out there and what she can do with hammer time. That was mental. But for me, I'm really going Tim Brown and see him blow again. I think he's got what it takes.
I think Rick Fuller as well. That was another impressive burnout from him. And I watched what he had to do a couple of months ago down at Summernats, where he actually lost a return spring on the throttle and he couldn't touch it. And he still managed to take the win because it's at a constant RPM. He had to steer around the pad. And it's like it happened again here because it was RPM, steer it all around the pad, come to a finish, get the tyres off, cheer on the crowd, get off the burnout pad, try and maximise those points.
And that was a good call out there as well with Full On X. You know, Rick Fuller coming down fast with a really big tip in, but you saw the body roll of that big HX sedan. You know, that can't be an easy thing to pilot around, but Rick certainly made it look easy.
There's been so many highlights across this whole 4-day event. Burnout Masters fresh in our memory, but can I also point out, seeing a Porsche take out Grand Champion at Summernats, that was such an exceptional example of automotive excellence right there. Seeing our Street Machine of the Year winner, Jasmine Green, cruising around in the Super Cruise and putting her highlights on display all weekend. The Drift Academy has been amazing. We've had so much live music. The Elite Hall, unveiled Saturday and Sunday, already selling out for next year. It is an awesome, awesome 4-day event. So many highlights, but of course this burnout pad, this has been the centre of all the activity.
Summernats 36 is not going to be one to miss, so tickets are on sale if you'd like to get in your entrance or spectators. But we do still just have that little bit of Street Machine Summernats 35 proudly supported by Rare Spares left, you know, clutching onto that last little bit of the best weekend we've had all year. Haha, New Year's joke. But, you know, it really was such a fantastic weekend down here at Street Machine Summernats 35, and we appreciate each and every one of you who made this a record-breaking and sell-out event. And the last piece of that puzzle is awarding the centrepiece of Summernats, the Burnout Masters competition and the Burnout Championship feeder series with it. So the judges are there hard in deliberation, going through points, and we are going to crown some champions today.
Would not want their job at all. Those judges have got a big ask ahead of them to pick a favourite. I'm looking at 15 cars and I can't pick a favourite.
Great to see some of the replays up here, obviously going out on our YouTube stream. It's been a long weekend. I'm just trying to rack my head to who it's going to be because I'm about to go down there and we're going to announce that with Cam down there, and it could be so many names. I just wonder till I get that final sheet of paper when we announce them, who will it be standing there on the top? Who are they going to lift up in front of everybody here and the crowd at Summernats 35 and be the Burnout Master, but the Burnout Champions as well, because there were so many big names there that I was expecting would be right up there, and unfortunately came to mechanical fatigue when it came to the championship finals.
We saw some pretty nasty pranks in that Burnout Championship, actually, and I'm a little bit upset about some of those beautiful, beautiful cars getting dinged up, but that's what they put on the line when they come out here on the Rod Shop Burnout pad. They want the title, they want the glory. You know, people like Rick Davis and Michael Tolley, they just had horrible mechanical failures. And then, of course, Steve Robson putting the nose of that beautiful Chevy into the wall.
We love everyone who's been watching us out on the Summernats YouTube stream as well. Make sure you are subscribing to that because it's not just Summernats to get on them. Obviously, all the events that Summernats are involved with tend to come up on that YouTube stream. So if you want to stay in touch with all your motorsport, all your burnouts, all your car shows, make sure you click that button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Summernats.
Well, the one I have been loving in the lead up to Summernats this year was J-Ben's and the little interviews he's been going out with the likes of Carolyn Hayes and so on, and just getting that backstory to why these cars that we see at Summernats 35 are so special.
Yeah, the Benz, such a good bloke and lives and breathes everything that is Summernats. So out there interviewing and making sure that we get those stories to you guys in the lead up. And of course, all the awesome content that's going to come out through Street Machine and Summernats and also Performance Garage. It's been a really popular edition this weekend with its rooftop bar over there where you got a fantastic view of Skid Row and also the Canna main stage. It was a really nice place to be.
It was. Every so often you just need a little time out. You can just chill. You can watch from a distance. You don't have to be standing in the sun, and that's what Performance Garage was great for. And of course, had you scanned the QR code, you go in the running to win a drift ride. I didn't get one.
Yeah, the Drift Cadet team were flat out up in the scrutineering sheds where they'd made a little course out of barriers and had a bunch of high-level drift cars up there taking passenger rides and just generally shredding tyres, which seems to be what Summernats is all about, whether it's on the Burnout pad, whether it's up there or Skid Row. Didn't that go off?
Look, we got a lot of diversity here at Summernats, and yeah, just like we had the drifting, very, very similar, we had the lawnmower racing and the grass driving events, and of course, Dave, you got to do all the really fun stuff, like fashions of the field and mullets and tattoos, and I'm so jealous.
Oh, I was buzzing about that. It was so good to jump up on the Canna main stage, and we went through fashions on the field where there was some really awesome party outfits, but some blokes that we saw getting around the stands in matching banana outfits, pink, with a shaved-in mullet with the colour-matched sunnies on the top. That was such a cool party outfit. They also jumped back in the mullet comp later on. In the middle, we had the tattoo competition, but really what everyone was there for and cheering for was that dirty mullet competition hosted by the legends at Mullet Fest, all supporting a good cause of brain cancer research.
I'm so glad it's inspired you to go home and grow a mullet. I think your girlfriend's going to be really happy about that.
Oh yeah, I actually chucked on one of those Mullet Fest headbands and sent it back home to the wife and mum as well and said, what do you guys reckon, mullet? I got a firm thumbs down, but the thumbs up that was coming from the crowd and all those limmy fingers waving out there, I think it may overrule it. We'll see what happens.
I think that is the thing that makes Summernats the event that it is the crowd. Everyone is so engaged, whether they're here in the Chick Henry Grandstand with the limmy fingers or whether they're over there on Main Street or even in Braddon at the Fringe Festival, everyone is super engaged.
We're getting there with our judges, so we're getting the trophies out and we will be presenting those right in the middle of the Rod Shop Burnout pad. Shouldn't be long now as the scores are tallied, and as we said, we started talking through our favourites, Lara, and also with Maddie. I think we pretty much listed every driver who didn't have a big deduction, so it really is anyone's game, and I'd be sticking around to see who goes home with that Burnout Championship trophy and also the coveted Burnout Masters trophy. But don't forget, the Burnout Championships top three also get themselves a Burnout Masters ticket to feed up into that main event. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to have a quick break. So if you tuned in on the live stream, we'll be back with the results in no time.
Designed for those majestic beasts who live life on the limiter and who aren't afraid to get dirty. Dirty Mullet Apparel. Forged on freedom and good times.
Whether you're building a street machine or a race car, Aeroflow Performance has a solution for you. Our ever-increasing range features boosted turbocharger systems, Bosch Motorsport products, X-Pro electrical systems, hoses and fittings, bang shift shifters, differential parts, and fabrication components. You can see it all on aeroflowperformance.com.
I need all the wins, yeah. Gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way cause I'm coming with hard hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. You better move.
I'll be a ghost. What I do is I handle the dreaming. It's obvious not about everything and everybody. It shows my revenue growth is out of control. I'm ready to blow. I'm ready for war. I'm ready for smoke. You ready to go? I really think I'm playing chess. I see a king. I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead of every move. Now that's a check. Yes, they want to know my secret. It's because I never slept. All my nightmares of me and 40 life's a wreck.
I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles. That I'm in my element, it's evident that there's levels to the game. Pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You trying to aim for the top like this, and you're in your element with a fire like this. And they hoping you fall and they praying you miss, but it's all in the risk. I got you with the switch, you know. You can be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element, ooh, yeah.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannon's understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 1346 46 for a quote.
My life is hot rods, designing them, building them, and racing them. If you're into rods or customs, you'll know what I mean. It's all about passion, purity, and soul.
Customs and hot rods like the SoCal Roadster is what we do.
And insurance for cars like ours is what Shannon's do.
Rods, customs, and even your daily drive. Call Shannon's on 1346 46.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
Like us.
Gary Meyer from Wagga Wagga in the 1966 Ford Mustang. Home built.
The Burnout King.
Real style. Real style.
Jack Myers now. Coming out with one.
I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches.
Righto, thank you so much for hanging around. What an amazing afternoon it has been here on the Rob Shop Burnout Pad. Summernats 35. Matty, how good this afternoon?
Mate, I'm nearly losing the soles of my shoes here and they've already cleaned it up. It's been hot today. The weather's back, the traditional Summernats weather, and of course, 60 championship burnouts in the finals and 15 burnout masters.
All right, tip of the hat also to both David and Lara up in the commentary box, and had an awesome 3.5 days here. Absolutely living it up with the crowd and loving it for Summernats 35. We got some winners to announce.
We do, and what a weekend has been, starting off on Thursday, of course, with our John Peterson, of course, announcing those 6 inductees into the Burnout Hall of Fame. So congratulations to them as well. But let's get on with some winners.
Okay, Burnout competition, the Rod Shop Burnout Pad right now. Let's go with the championship. So, unfortunately, in the 4-cylinder category, no winner, Matt.
Well, no one showed up.
Yeah, they just didn't show up. So we'll save that trophy for next year and put Summernats 36 on the engraving list for it. So let's go to our best 6-cylinder burnout. And the winner was entrant number 622. It's Adam Slorich, Shan, the HR Ute.
Where is Numbnuts? Come forward. Oh, true Summernats fashion. He's coming with a VB in one hand.
And of course, the safety thongs as well. He's got the safety thongs on as well. Well done. Okay, let's go. Best 6-cylinder burnout. There is your plate once again. Let's hear it for Adam. Well done, mate. You too. Okay, burnout champion in 3rd place. We had 3rd, 2nd and 1st. So we go 3rd place. It is entrant number 468. It's Nathan Sutherland in the Commodore sedan.
Killer K, where is he? A local from around these regions as well. So good to see that will be staying here in the ACT. Where is Killer K and Nathan Sutherland? Just remembering that our top 3 championship burnout competitors also get a spot in the Burnout Masters next year.
100%. This is highly prized, even if you are in at 3rd. Okay, we'll pass that on to Nathan. Taking out 2nd place, entrant number 439. It is Phil Kurjan in the Commodore wagon.
Tough Street, where he's been a hard weekend for Phil. He had a couple of days laid up in the hotel room, not feeling too well, but he made his way back. He wasn't the wild card to start with, but 2nd in the championship.
Come on, mate, give us a smile. All right, nice trophy there for you. That will look good on the mantelpiece. Well, give him another round of applause. Good on you, Phil. There you are. Okay, Summernats 35, taking out the Burnout champion, entrant number 2491. It's Anthony Page.
For the 2nd time, your Burnout Championship winner, Pagey out of Western Australia. Wow, the West Aussies are finally back.
Nice work, light them up. That is absolutely worth the trip all the way over from the West. There's a nice big trophy for you. Well done, brother. Nice work indeed.
Oh, wow, good to see Pagey back up on the top of the podium there, and big weekend for him, of course, finally making his way back over here.
Okay, Matty, now you've been here a few years now. How did you see the Burnout Masters? Because that's where we are going next with 3rd, 2nd and 1st overall, brother.
Look, it was very tough competition this year. Normally we see about a third of the competitors succumb to either stopping in the corner, tapping a wall, going up in flames and that. We didn't see too many cars go out this time. It was super tough, huge RPM, huge smoke scores. I can't wait to see who's going to be the winner.
Let's go. So we'll go with third place, taking $5,000 prize and, of course, the title of third here at Summernats 35 in the Burnout Masters. It is going to go to entrant number 2185. It's Michael Pratton.
Where's Spastic? The Commodore, he's on a bit of a run.
Just up the road in Goulburn, and he absolutely loves it. And we'll call him a local for the purpose of this particular presentation. Good on you, Michael. Well done.
Oh, wow, good to see Spastic. He had a good run of Brashnats this year, second runner-up where he got his ticket into the Burnout Masters, and now third here in this great group of drivers.
Takes out that beautiful photo opportunity as well with the trophy. Well done. Let's hear it once again for Michael. Nice work out there. Summernats 35, second place in the Burnout Masters, taking $7,500. It is entrant number 2469. We know him well. It's Rick Fuller.
Full Onyx and his brand new build. He has been slaying the competitions now since he's got that all sorted. Coming off a win at Brashnats and now runner-up.
He's got an absolute sweat working just being out here in the sun, but we love turning around and blowing those tyres. It was fantastic. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Once again, let's hear it for Rick Fuller. You know him. Let's go. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a pretty popular win there, Matty. Let's go with our winner. Summernats 35 here in the Rod Shop Burnout pad. Taking out a huge prize check, $20,000. I'm just going to say his name. It is Jake Myers.
Sicko gets his second ever Burnout Masters win. 2 Burnout Master wins now for Jake Myers in the last 3 years, and here he is. Come and get your big trophy.
Sensational story as well. We watch it on YouTube. We watch the car get redone. Well done. Get the photos and then we'll chat to him. All good. Let's go. Jake, how do you like that, mate?
Wow, what a start to 2023, eh? Yeah, I just want to give this one to Chris. Sorry, not Chris. Chick Henry. Sorry, I'm so nervous. Yeah, and yeah, Ken Block. Yeah, he passed away the other day, so this one's for you, mate. And yeah, and thanks to my mum, my dad, my partner. Yeah, Andrew for changing me tyres for the weekend. And thanks Summernats for putting on a killer show. And yeah, thanks to my sponsors. Cheers, everyone.
All right, there he is, Jake Myers. I tell you what, Andrew has got the hardest job in the world changing the tyres, right?
Oh, he's gone through a few this weekend as well.
Over they all come. Let's hear it for the whole Myers group. Let's go. Let's make plenty of noise for them. All right. We are going to get lost in black T-shirts here. Matty, we'll just let these photo opportunities go. We'll keep on talking. Man, how good was that once again across the 3.5 days here at the Rod Shop Burnout Pad? That has just been mad fun.
Some of the most phenomenal burnouts I've ever seen in the Burnout Masters as well. Super tough. And they lift him up, the Myers muscle right at the front too.
This is becoming a bit of a tradition as well. On the shoulders, away we go with these photos. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get all of our competitors to come on over. We've got one big massive photo opportunity for everyone. So over you come, everyone. Let's go.
All of the Burnout Masters, head over here. We want to see all of our championship winners come over. We'll get you all together and get a great group photo.
All right, so for the Myers clan, the Myers group, you guys all stay here as well. Let's go, everyone. The photographers will direct you around. They'll let you know exactly what they want you to do as we go for our final big photo, the final big flick, the final big moment here at the Rod Shop Burnout Pad.
All right, let's get our 15 drivers and crew over here. Where are our 15 drivers and crew? Come and stand around the table here. Just a reminder too, of course, our top 3 from the championships will get himself a spot in the Burnout Masters for Summernats 36 in 2024, as well as our top 5 in the Burnout Masters. Of course, we saw our top 3. We will announce the next 2. Our top 5 will be announced on social media very, very shortly. But here you go, our winners in the Burnout Masters, and of course, our winner of the Burnout Championships as well.
All right, once again, we also want to say thank you to everyone for hanging around here this afternoon. Of course, plenty of people in the sunshine enjoying the absolute spectacle that has been happening right throughout the course of the 3.5 days, but certainly this afternoon. Our platinum members up there in the shade.
Our platinum members up there in the shade in the Chick Henry stand. Of course, don't forget, we sold out Saturday and Sunday this year. I think next year we could sell out early, so make sure you get online for Summernats 36. Tickets are already on sale. Get your entries, get your camping spot, and get your tickets there in the platinum seats. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being here this weekend. It's been fantastic having record crowds back at Summernats for Summernats 35. We'll see you again next year.